Boys and girls, are you excited? It is art day. Let's look and see what you get to do. You get to make a fall mosaic, and we're going to make a beautiful picture that you can decorate your house with around the fall time, or even if it's not the fall time where you are, you can put this picture up because it reminds us to be thankful to God for everything that He has done. And it's going to look a lot like the Native American corn that they grew back then when they met the Pilgrims. So I'm excited about this picture we get to make. The very first thing that you need to do is take a pencil and turn your paper over to the back, and there's a place for you to put your name at the very bottom. So put your name, and of course you're going to put it in your best penmanship, because after we make this, you may want to give it to someone to cheer them up if they're having a sad day, and they can decorate their house with it, or you can put it in your own house. So after you put your name on it, we're ready for the very first step. And what we need to do is we need to cut out these pieces right here. These are the corn husks. So you're going to take your scissors. You can do it right along with me. And we're going to walk on that solid black line. Now, you've done a lot of cutting with me, and you probably are getting much, much better with it, making nice smooth lines with your scissors. And I'm just cutting off that white part at the very bottom. Just walk your scissors on it, and I got off just a little bit, but that's fine. And then you can turn your paper like this, and you're going to cut on this black line. We're basically cutting the directions off, or cutting the husk off the directions. And you'll see on your paper while we're cutting little tiny pictures. There's one of silverware and a shopping cart and an airplane. Those are icons. Icons are just little symbols, little drawings that help us to understand things. And you've already seen some. Remember the little picture of scissors that you've seen before, students watching? We've had that in art before, and that's called an icon. So once you got all of the white part cut off, then you should have the 3 corn husks, and the corn husks are together, and we will separate them in just a minute. Now, you do want to keep your directions. Remember, we always hang on to those because that helps us to know what the next step is, because you have to follow the directions. So you can flip it over to the other side so you can see each step. So do you have what I have so far? It's like the letter L, doesn't it? All right, so now we need to separate them. There's 3 of them. So you're just going to walk on the black line again and separate them. There we go. Get mine separated. So I got one cut off, and then you're just going to cut off the other one. Nice even strokes, nice and smooth. Following the directions. There we go. So now you have 3 of them. You can put your trash into one pile. And then I'll show you what we get to do next. Because you're probably thinking, Mrs. Chappell, that doesn't look like that's going to fit there, because yours isn't hanging off the page. This is the fun part. All right, so now what you're going to do is you're going to take the corn husk, and I flipped it so the word base is at the top and it's upside down. So I am right now closer to that golden line than I am to the dotted line. And what we want to do is cut some fringes. Maybe you've seen fringes on some clothing before. So we need 3 to 5. So you can do 3, 4, or 5. So what I'm doing is I'm just coming over about 1/4 of an inch, and I'm just going to cut this. I'm not cutting it off. When I get to that gold line, I'm going to stop. So now I have one little fringe, and you don't have to measure it. There's no line to follow. If it's not perfectly straight, it's all right. So then we'll come over about another 1/4 of an inch. Did you know that math comes into play even during art time? It does. So now I have 2 fringes, and they're just hanging there like that. You don't want to cut them off. So I'm going to make another one. And this one's a little wider than the other 2, and that's fine. I'm estimating. Remember, we've done that before. So then I'm just going to cut the last one in half. So then I'll have 5 whole fringes. And again, you didn't have to have as many as I did. You could have 3 or 4, depending on how thick you wanted them. So then do the same thing to the other ones. Remember, the base is at the top. I don't want to cut the base. So just start at the bottom, you're cutting all the way up to that golden line, and then you stop. And you can keep cutting. I wouldn't do more than 5 though. You don't want it too thin. So once I get 3, I'm going to take that last one, just cut it in half. Because when you cut something in half, how many pieces do you get?
2.
That's right. So then we have a total of 5 fringes again. And then you get to do the next one. Isn't this fun? It's kind of nice cutting without a line to guide you, isn't it? You're just cutting little fringes. And students watching, maybe some of you live on a farm. I know I've had students watching before that live on a farm or a ranch. Maybe your parents grow corn, and so you see this all the time. That's pretty interesting. All right, so then you have those. So I'll give you about a minute to finish cutting your fringes on all your pieces. And again, it didn't have to be perfectly straight. That's all right. You just accidentally did more because yours are thinner. So on the next one, you can go a little wider. Okay. All right, so when you finish that, I'm going to show you the next step. The next step involves some folding because you know whenever we see dotted lines, we get the fold on the dotted lines. So if you look at your directions, it'll show you, and it's important to read these directions. So number 4 tells us to fold the base of the corn husk in toward the yellow-orange line. That was the golden one. So we're going to fold it in toward the yellow line. So if you got your corn husk right here, you're going to take it on the dotted line and you're going to fold it in toward the golden line. So fold it in. And when you do that, you're going to see the word tape. You want to be able to see the word tape. So you're folding the word base down, basically. So you get to that golden line. Okay. So I'm going to do another one in case you didn't see that. So I have mine, but the word base is upside down. You see that dotted line? I'm just going to fold it right there and try to line it up with that golden line. And again, I want to get it straight, but you do your best. This one doesn't want to fold, so I'm going to try to pinch it. There we go. I showed it what it's supposed to do. Fold on that dotted line. All right, and then the other one. Again, you're folding right on that dotted line, so you see the word tape. And you stop right at that golden line, yellow-orange line, right there. See that? Now, there is a set of directions that I skipped because I wanted to do the folding first, and then we'll go back to step number 3 because I thought you could do well with your folding if we did it this way first. All right, so the next we need to fold the tabs along the brown dashed lines toward each other. So you see the little tabs over here on the right and left side of the word tape. You're just going to fold, it's just a really small tab. You're just going to fold it toward the word tape. And one of your fringes might get a little bit bent, but that's fine because we're going to do some crumbling in just a minute. So take the other one on the other side and just fold it on the dotted line toward the word tape. Just right toward it. You're folding toward the word tape. I'll show you again if you're confused. So you've already folded toward the golden line. Take the right side tab, fold it toward the word tape. Take the left one, fold it toward the word tape. And that's where your tab is. All right, and then you've got one more. You're basically making it a little thinner, right? Because when we put it on the top of the ears of corn, then it's going to fit better. So you're going to fold the right one toward the word tape, fold the left one toward it, and there you have it. All right. Now what we want to do, we're going to go back to the one that I skipped because I wanted to get the folding done. Now, you don't have to do this a lot. You can just do it a little bit, but what we want to do is we want to crumble the corn husk a little bit. See how my example, it's kind of bent and jagged. That's what a real corn husk would look like. So if you want to crumble it, you're almost just like you're going to crumble up a piece of paper, but see how I'm just mashing it? I'm not wringing it up and throwing it in the trash. I'm just kind of mashing it, and like that, and then when I let go, see how uneven it is? It's a little crumpled. Each one of them is a little different. It's going to look like a real corn husk. So again, you can do it as little or as much as you want, but you do want it to stand up some so it looks a little different. See, like that? I'll do another one. See, just kind of crumble it a little bit. It's like you're mashing it. Just don't do it too much. Just a little bit so you've got some wrinkles in it. Kind of like when your mother would take your shirt and she'd say, oh, I need to iron that. That's got wrinkles in it. That's basically what we're making it look like. I know, it happens. All right, so I'm going to crumble up this one just a little bit because you don't want it to rip into pieces. All right, so there we have it. It's all crumbled. All right, and it's still standing up. All right, the next step is we are going to glue this on. All right, so this is how you do it. You're going to need your glue, of course. Now, where it says tape, we're actually going to use glue. All right, now students watching, if you want to use tape, you can do that. Your classmates here, we're going to actually use the glue. All right, so what we're going to do is where it says tape, we're going to put glue. So we're just going to put a line of glue right there. I'm going to put it on the little tab as well, just like that. And then we're going to flip it over. I'm going to do the center one first. I'm just going to lay that down right there. If some glue oozes out, that's all right. It'll dry clear. I'm going to do the center one first so that if the right and left side hang over a little bit, I've started in the center, so I know the center is in the middle. Okay. And you just hold it there for about 30 seconds, and it should stay. And if not, we just put a little bit more glue. And you just hold it down. Everybody's counting, students watching. Are you counting? Everybody's mouthing the numbers to me. All right. So there, I'm going to let that go, and then you're just going to do it again. So again, you can use tape or you can use glue. Now I'm going to put glue right there where tape, the word tape was. Maybe I'm going to do the little tabs because I don't want them hanging out. And then I'm going to go to the one on the left. At this point, you can do the right one or the left one. I'm going to get it as close as I can to the other one. And you'll see it, there's a dotted rectangle that says corn husk base. And that's what we had. So we're going to glue that down. And I know you're looking at all the seeds. You're wondering, what are those for? Well, we're going to come to that in just a minute. All right? So just hold that down. Let that sit there. Now I'm sure yours is gluing just fine. And then we got the third one, so do that the same way. You can just put it right there on the little tab too. And we're just going to lay it over here. And push that one down. It's almost three-dimensional. Three-dimensional means it sticks out some. That looks very interesting, doesn't it? Okay. Just going to hold it down, let it glue. Have you already imagined where you want to put it in your house to decorate your house? Maybe you thought of somebody from your church that you've been praying for. Maybe you want to give it to them for a present. All right. Now, while that dries, what we're going to do now is we're going to glue on beans, seeds, lentils, corn, excuse me, I got tongue-tied. Kernels of corn is what I was trying to say. So you've been given a bag, and students watching, you have one as well. It just has a lot of beans and seeds in there, and you're going to glue them on to the center one. See my example? You're not going to do it to the right and the left one because they're already filled with different colors. So you're going to do it on the yellow one. Now, what I like to do, and I'm going to start down at the bottom so you can see, because my corn husk is sticking out. I like to do several at once because some of them are very, very tiny. So I'm just going to put some dots of glue down here. Now, I wouldn't do the whole thing because your glue is going to dry before you can get to it. But some of your beans might be larger than others, and some of your pieces, like the corn kernels, are smaller. So since your paper is flat in front of you, mine's on the chalkboard standing up, so hopefully mine will stay. All right, and you just take one of the seeds or one of the kernels and just place it on that dot of glue. You can push it down and then let it go, and then it will dry. Don't hold yours up like mine's in midair, because they may start falling off. Like that one just slipped out of my hand, so tiny. All right, so you can just put them right there. Now you don't have to put one in every square. You see my example, how I have it spread out all over, so you don't have to fill up every little spot on your picture. You can spread around. Okay, that's a big one. And if some glue oozes out, it will dry clear, remember? So then you're just going to keep placing the little beans and lentils. I just lost one of my beans. Whoop! So if you lose one, just put a little more glue. Mine fell off because of gravity. So what goes up must come down. So we're just going to put that there. And again, you can skip around. You don't have to do it in every single spot. So you want to put one here, then we'll come over here and put another one. So you just keep gluing some of them on till they're all glued. And I put a little one right there, so that glue is going to still be there, but it'll dry clear. I think maybe it's going to stay. Yes, it'll stay? Maybe? All right. Now, while you're putting on the rest of your beans and seeds, let me just explain to you what's going to happen next. Once you get your beans and your seeds glued on, by that time your corn husk will dry, and you're going to take this piece, this is raffia, you're going to take it and you're just going to tie it around the top of your corn husk. You just tie it into a knot, or you can tie it into a bow, and then right at the center of it, you're going to put a button. So you're going to just glue a button right there, and just put the glue right on top of the knot that you had, and just set the button on it. And remember last time we did buttons, the little glue comes through the holes, that's fine. And then you'll secure it right there. And then you have a beautiful fall mosaic that you can give to someone or decorate your own house with. So students watching, you may finish your beautiful art project with your on-site teacher.